it's really bold of Star Trek to say that the galaxy revolves around Spock. I mean, we all knew it, but stating it outright is brave as hell. Hello, geeks, freaks, and all those unique. This is Emcee Frodis, and I can't believe we're finally here. It feels like just yesterday I was at Mission Chicago complaining because their sneak preview was just a teeny tiny bridge scene that we'd already seen in most of the trailers. But Strange New Worlds has finished its first season. In this final episode, Quality of Mercy, Pike thinks he has come up with a solution for his eventual fate. But a visit from his future self shows him what will happen if he goes through with subverting his destiny. We get a glimpse at a changed future, at something very familiar to Star Trek fans going all the way back to 1966. You know, I've been wrong about some things over this season. See, basically all of my Spock character motivations. But if you go back and look at my video on episode 1, I did nail the essential themes of the season of grief and loss, and those serving as bonding elements. This episode delves deep into Pike's bargaining against his fate. If he knows the future, there must be a way around it. But his future self lets him know that it's not so simple. Putting us in the episode Balance of Terror is the best way to illustrate this. From Pike's point of view, it's the future, but for viewers, it's from the past. We know how things are supposed to go, and because of that, it's uncomfortable to see Pike there. And it's not because we know he's not supposed to be there, but because he knows he's not supposed to be there. This is not the Pike we've seen through Season 2 of Discovery, or even Season 1 of Strange New Worlds. He's uncertain, questioning everything. He knows just enough about this future that it causes him to make mistakes. This is the lesson that Pike needed to learn. Through the whole season, he's let the knowledge of his fate cloud his judgment. It's why he was hesitant to go back to Starfleet. It affected his judgment of the Magellans. And in this episode, he thinks he can write his way out of his future. He spends most of this episode questioning Kirk, thinking it's going to be his choices that caused the war with the Romulans. I think this season has clearly revealed that Pike's fatal flaw is trying to take the path of least resistance. He wants to preserve as many lives as he can, including his own. And that's what makes his knowledge of the future so dangerous. He feels compelled to use that knowledge to prevent more deaths, but as his future self shows him, it will only lead to more suffering, as Spock is the one who pays the price. There is a very good question we have to ask ourselves. Why does Spock always pay the price? Is it because Kirk has to take the Enterprise and see to the Romulan incident? But couldn't Pike just save the cadets and then retire from Starfleet, allowing the future to unfold as it should, just with Pike able-bodied? Future Pike says that all versions of him not ending up in the chair end up with Spock dying. This implies that the Klingon monks were able to show Pike all of the different variations. So why is this the case? Why is there not one version of the future where Pike can be out of the chair and Spock can still be alive? I think it's because ending up with the chair isn't actually the fixed point in Pike's future. It's ending up on Talos 4, that is. That's why it's always Spock who's injured by Pike's continued existence. Spock is intrinsically tied to Pike going to Talos 4. Because their fates are so entwined, in order to balance the scales of Pike's survival, Spock needs to pay the price. I think Admiral Pike coming to the past wearing the monster maroons speaks very much to this connection. When we think of that uniform, we think of Wrath of Khan, where Spock sacrifices himself. I think it's been very interesting that Pike continually refers to his injury as a death. We know it's not a death. It's the death of the life that he's living, but he'll live on. And he will end up on Talos 4, something he's not aware of yet. And I think that might be the vital piece of information. For as much as Star Trek fans think they know Pike's fate, we actually don't. He ends up on Talos 4, but where does he go from there? We know through Vina that the Talosians are able to halt aging. Vina crashed on Talos 4 in 2236, but still looked exactly the same in 2267 when Pike joins her. So what happens to Pike? We don't know. And Pike doesn't know. This is the one thing Pike doesn't get a sneak peek on. And that's a good thing. It's the strange new world Pike is always moving towards. The real final frontier. Finally breaking free of this cycle of denial and bargaining he's been stuck in ever since he went to Borath. And in doing so, I think Pike has realized what his real future is. It's the same future everyone has. Legacy. To quote Hamilton, what is a legacy? It's planting seeds in a garden you never get to see. Spock is going to go on and change the galaxy on an unprecedented level, ending the Cold War with the Klingons, starting the reunification of the Vulcans and Romulans, saving the galaxy from the Romulan supernova, which inadvertently creates an entire other universe. And that's just the huge things. That's not including all of the other smaller scale things that Spock will do that will reach legendary status by the 24th century and beyond. But it all started here. It all started with Pike. Spock isn't yet that person who does all of that stuff. He learned how to be that man by serving under Pike. And it's not just any Pike, but the one who's confident in his decisions, who is not bogged down by the knowledge of the future. This finale was absolutely fantastic. Balance of Terror is one of my favorite Star Trek episodes of all time, and this episode plays on it in such an interesting way. Anson Mount acts the hell out of this episode, both as the weary Admiral Pike, and the current Pike who is uncertain as to what he's supposed to be doing. It was a great way to put this plot with him to rest, to let him know that while a tragedy might befall him, there will be many good things he has a small hand in. I'm going to do a longer wrap-up video about this season as a whole, but I'm going to say it was a solid 7.5 for me. There were a few episodes I really didn't like, but on the whole, I really enjoyed it. Is this my favorite first season of Star Trek ever? Looking at it, no. I think that's still Lower Decks. But I think that stems from the stakes of Lower Decks being much lower. All it needed to do was make me laugh, while this series had a ridiculously high expectation, so it's no surprise it wasn't able to reach it for me. So comment down below with your thoughts on Strange New Worlds' Quality of Mercy. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I do videos about Star Trek, Star Wars, and lots of other geeky things. If you want to support me, please visit my Patreon. You can also buy me a coffee, or you can go to my Redbubble and TeePublic to buy my geeky graphic designs. So until next time, live long, and may the Force be with you.